Security escorted her out, my mother, in front of 150 people at my cousin's funeral. She was screaming that I had ruined everything, that I was an ungrateful liar, that I had humiliated her in front of the entire family. Two men in dark suits walked her through the side door of the church while my 8-year-old daughter sat next to me, holding my hand so tight I could feel her pulse through her fingertips. Some people in my family still think I went too far. After everything you are about to hear, I want to know what you think. I didn't plan to read that letter at a funeral. I had it with me because I carried it everywhere by then, tucked in the inside pocket of my purse where I used to keep emergency cash. The paper had gone soft from being folded and unfolded so many times. My daughter had written it 3 weeks earlier, the night after my mother told her she couldn't come to Thanksgiving because there wouldn't be enough chairs. There were always enough chairs. There were 23 chairs around that table every year. I had counted them since I was 7 years old, back when I still thought if I was good enough, quiet enough, helpful enough, one of those chairs would really belong to me. But when my mother announced in the middle of the funeral reception that my daughter couldn't sit with the family during the service, that she was never supposed to exist, something in me made a decision my brain hadn't caught up to yet. I stood up slowly. I walked to the podium, and I read every single word my daughter had written about the DNA test we had done together, the one that proved my mother had been lying for 32 years. Let me tell you how we got here. My mother named me Claire. Claire with an I, she always said, because I was supposed to be elegant, graceful, the kind of daughter who made her look good. My sister Rebecca was born 18 months after me, and from the beginning, everyone could see she was the easy one, the pretty one. The one who laughed at my father's jokes and cried at exactly the right moments and never asked questions that made people uncomfortable. I was 7 the first time I understood I was different from the rest of them. It was Christmas morning. Rebecca opened a jewelry box with a gold bracelet inside, delicate links that caught the light. I opened a sweater, navy blue, practical. My mother patted my shoulder and said, "You're so sensible, Claire. You don't need fancy things." Rebecca wore that bracelet every day for 3 years. I wore the sweater twice, but I want to be clear about something. My childhood wasn't tragic. It wasn't abusive in any way you could point to and name. I had food, clothes, a room of my own. My parents came to school events. We went on vacations. From the outside, we looked like every other upper-middle-class family in Westchester County. My father was a commercial real estate broker. My mother ran charity galas and served on museum boards. We had a house with 4 bedrooms and a finished basement, a golden retriever named Murphy, and a timeshare in Vermont. What I didn't have was the feeling that I belonged to them. Rebecca got piano lessons. I got told that music wasn't really my thing. Rebecca got a car for her 16th birthday. I got permission to borrow my mother's old sedan if I filled the tank and returned it by 9. Rebecca's college fund paid for 4 years at Vanderbilt. Mine paid for 2 years at community college before my parents sat me down and explained that they needed to be realistic about my prospects. "You're a B student, Claire," my father said. He was reading the newspaper while he said it, didn't even look up. "You're not going to be a doctor or a lawyer. There's no point throwing money at a state school when you could learn a trade." I was 19. I had a 3.7 GPA. I had already been accepted to 3 universities. I didn't argue. I had learned by then that arguing only made my mother's voice go tight and thin, only made my father look at me like I was being difficult on purpose. So I nodded. I said okay. I enrolled in a business certificate program at the community college and got a job waitressing at night. And then I came home one evening and found Rebecca crying at the kitchen table. She had wrecked the car. Not badly. A fender bender in a parking lot, her fault, no one hurt. But the repair was going to cost $3,000, and insurance would only cover half. My mother was sitting next to her, rubbing her back. "Don't worry, sweetheart. These things happen. Daddy will take care of it." I was holding 2 grocery bags. I had just worked a double shift and stopped to pick up milk and bread on the way home because my mother had mentioned we were running low. I set the bags down on the counter and said, "I thought you told me last month you couldn't help with my tuition because money was tight." My mother looked at me. Her hand didn't stop moving on Rebecca's back. "This is different." "How?" "Rebecca made a mistake. She feels terrible. You're asking us to fund decisions we don't agree with." I had asked for $1,200, 1 semester of classes. Rebecca looked up at me, her face blotchy and red. "I'm sorry, Claire, I didn't mean to." "It's fine," I said. "It's not your fault." And it wasn't. Rebecca never asked to be the favorite. She never asked for our mother to love her more. She was just easier to love, I guess, softer, less complicated. I moved out 3 months later. I found a studio apartment in White Plains, $420 a month, and I worked 3 jobs to keep it: waitressing, retail, and weekend catering. I finished my business certificate. I got a job doing bookkeeping for a small property management company, $28,000 a year plus health insurance. My mother told everyone I was going through a phase. I was 21 when I started cleaning houses on the side. Not because I needed the money, although I did, because the woman who owned the property management company, Patricia Reyes, told me something that stuck. We were having coffee in her office, going over the quarterly reports. She set down her mug and said, "You're good with numbers, better than good. You see things other people miss." "Thank you," I said, "but you're never going to build wealth working for someone else. You need to own something." I didn't know what to own. I barely had enough saved for first and last month's rent, but I started paying attention. I noticed which of our properties turned over fastest, which landlords were lazy, which tenants paid late every single month. I started asking questions. How much did it cost to buy a building? What was the profit margin on rent? How did you know if a neighborhood was about to go up in value? Patricia didn't have to answer me. I was just her bookkeeper. But she did anyway. And 6 months later, when I told her I was thinking about starting my own cleaning business, she said, "Do it. I'll be your first client." I was 22 when I registered the LLC, Precision Home Services. I hired 2 other women and paid them $15 an hour, 3 more than I was making at the property management company. We cleaned vacation rentals, office buildings after hours, and estates in Scarsdale where people had more bathrooms than I had rooms in my apartment. I didn't tell my family, not because it was a secret. Because I knew what they would say. My mother found out anyway. She always did. She called me on a Tuesday night, 8:30, right when I was finishing up a job in Bronxville. "Rebecca saw your van today," she said. "No hello. Is it true you're cleaning houses?" I was scrubbing grout with a toothbrush. My knees hurt. I had been working for 11 hours. "Yes, Claire." Her voice did that thing, that disappointed exhale. "I thought you wanted more for yourself." "I do. This isn't what I meant." "You have a business degree, a certificate. You could get a real job. Rebecca's friend works at Morgan Stanley. I could ask." "I have a real job," she sighed. "I'm trying to help you." I didn't ask for help. "That's the problem," she said. "You never ask. You just do these impulsive things and then we're supposed to act like it's normal." I sat back on my heels. The bathroom was marble and chrome, spotless now except for the corner I was working on. Through the window I could see the driveway, the circular kind with a fountain in the middle. The house was worth maybe $3 million. The owner was in Paris. I was being paid $200 to make it look like no one had ever lived there. "I have to go," I said. "Claire, I'll call you later." I didn't call her later. I didn't call her for 3 months. And when I finally did, it was because my grandmother had a stroke and I needed to know which hospital. My grandmother was my father's mother, a tiny Polish woman named Zofia who wore velvet tracksuits and made pierogi from scratch every Sunday. She was the only person in my family who ever looked at me like I made sense. When I was little, she used to let me help her in the kitchen, and she would tell me stories about coming to America with $7 and a suitcase, about cleaning floors in office buildings until she saved enough to buy a corner store in Queens. "You are like me," she told me once. I was maybe 9 years old, rolling dough on her kitchen counter. "You see what is in front of you and you do not cry about it. You fix it." She had the stroke on a Sunday. Massive, the doctors said. She was in a coma for 4 days before they let us in to see her. My father sat by her bed and held her hand. My mother stood by the window, her arms crossed. Rebecca cried quietly in the hallway. I stood at the foot of the bed and looked at my grandmother's face, slack and gray, and thought about the last thing she had said to me. It was 6 months earlier at my cousin's wedding. She had pulled me aside during the reception, her small hand tight around my wrist. "You are doing something," she said. It wasn't a question. "Yes." "Good, do not tell them until you are finished." "Finished with what?" She smiled. Her teeth were small and very white. "With being underestimated." She died 3 days later. The will reading was on a Thursday. My father's sister flew in from Arizona. My uncle drove up from Maryland. We all sat in the law office in New Rochelle, dark wood and leather chairs, while the attorney read through the bequests. Rebecca got the china. My uncle got the coin collection. My aunt got the jewelry, except for one ring, a sapphire that had belonged to Zofia's mother, which went to me, and then the attorney said my name again. To my granddaughter Claire, I leave the property at 447 Steinway Street in Queens, New York, along with the business operating therein and all associated assets. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. My father said, "What property?" The attorney looked at his notes. "A commercial building, currently leased to multiple tenants, valued at approximately $1.1 million. My mother turned to look at me. "Did you know about this?" "No, she gave you a building." My father's voice was flat. "She gave you $1 million building." "Apparently," Rebecca said. "Wow, Claire, that's amazing." My mother said nothing. She just looked at me like I had done something wrong, like I had tricked an old woman into giving me something I didn't deserve. The attorney cleared his throat. "There's also a letter." He handed me an envelope. Heavy cream paper, my name written on the front in my grandmother's shaky handwriting. I didn't open it until I got home. Inside was one sentence: "Use it to build something they cannot take from you." I was 23 years old. I owned a building in Queens. I had 12 clients and 2 employees and $3,000 in my business account. I sat on the floor of my studio apartment and I cried. Not because I was sad. Because for the first time in my life, I felt like someone had seen me clearly and decided I was worth betting on. The building had 4 commercial units and 6 apartments. 3 of the commercial spaces were rented to a bodega, a dry cleaner, and a tax preparation office. The 4th was empty. The apartments were all occupied, mostly older tenants who had been there for years. I didn't know anything about property management, but I knew how to clean, how to keep books, how to show up on time, and do what I said I would do. I spent 6 months learning. I read every book I could find on real estate investment. I shadowed Patricia at work. I went to city planning meetings and landlord association events and sat in the back taking notes. My family thought I was playing pretend. My father called me once to ask if I needed help finding a property manager. "You can't do this yourself, Claire. It's more complicated than you think." "I know, so you'll hire someone. Maybe eventually." "Claire, I'm learning. You're going to run it into the ground." I almost said something mean. I almost said, "You sold appliances for 20 years and you're giving me business advice." But I didn't. I just said, "I'll be careful." I hung up and went back to studying the city's rent stabilization laws. 6 months later, I refinanced the building and used the equity to buy another property, a small mixed-use building in Mount Vernon, then another in Yonkers, then a 4th in New Rochelle. I was 25 when I incorporated Claire Novick Properties LLC. I hired a part-time assistant. I moved out of the studio apartment and into a 1-bedroom in a building I didn't own, which felt important somehow. I didn't tell my family about any of it, not because I was hiding. Because they didn't ask. My mother called every few weeks to tell me about Rebecca's life, Rebecca's engagement, Rebecca's wedding, Rebecca's new house in Darien, Rebecca's promotion at the marketing firm where she worked, Rebecca's vacation to Napa. "You should come visit," my mother said once. "Rebecca would love to show you the house." "I'd like that." "Maybe next month. I know you're busy with your little business." My little business had 7 properties and 16 employees by then, but I just said, "Sure." Next month sounds good. Next month never came. Something always came up. Rebecca was busy. I was busy. We would do it another time. I didn't mind. I had work. I had friends, women I had met through the landlord association, other small business owners who understood what it was like to build something from nothing. I had Patricia, who still called me every Sunday to talk strategy. And I had Ms. Evelyn. I met her on a Wednesday morning. I was inspecting a property in Mount Vernon, a triplex I had just purchased. The heat wasn't working in one of the units, and I was down in the basement trying to figure out why the boiler kept shutting off. I heard footsteps on the stairs, light, careful steps. "Hello?" a voice called. "Is someone down here?" I stood up, wiped my hands on my jeans. "Hi, yes, sorry, I'm the owner, Claire." An older black woman appeared at the bottom of the stairs. She was maybe 70, thin, with gray hair pulled back in a bun and glasses on a chain around her neck. She was holding a casserole dish covered in foil. "Oh," she said. "You're younger than I expected." "I get that a lot," she smiled. "I'm Evelyn Washington. I live in Unit 2. I thought I'd bring you something to eat. You've been down here for an hour." "You didn't have to do that." "I know." She set the dish on the top of the washing machine. "But I wanted to. The last landlord never even came by. Just sent someone to collect rent. It's nice to see someone who cares." I looked at the casserole. It was still warm. I hadn't eaten since 6 that morning. "Thank you," I said. "You're welcome." She turned to go back upstairs, then stopped. "Can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Are you going to raise the rent?" I looked at her. Her face was calm, but her hands were clasped tight in front of her, knuckles pale. "No," I said. "Not unless I have to. And if I do, I'll give you as much notice as I can." She exhaled. "Okay." "Thank you. Can I ask you something?" "Sure." "Why did you bring me food if you thought I might raise your rent?" She smiled again, whiter this time. because that's what neighbors do, and because I figured if you were the kind of person who would spend an hour in a cold basement trying to fix a boiler yourself, you were probably the kind of person worth being kind to. I didn't know what to say to that. She patted my arm. Eat, you look half-starved. I ate the casserole sitting on the basement steps. Chicken and rice and something with cheese. It was the best thing I had tasted in weeks. Ms. Evelyn became my first real friend in the business. She knew everyone in the building, everyone on the block. When I needed a good plumber, she knew one. When I needed advice on which contractor to trust, she had an opinion. When I sat in my car outside the building at 2 in the morning because the pipes had burst in Unit 3 and I didn't know if I could afford to fix them, she knocked on my window and told me to come inside and have tea. "You're going to be fine," she said. We were sitting in her kitchen. Her apartment was small but immaculate, plants on every windowsill, photographs covering the walls. "You know how I know?" "How?" "Because you're here. Most landlords would have sent someone else. You're here at 2 in the morning with your sleeves rolled up. That means something. It means I can't afford to send someone else." She laughed. "Maybe, but it also means you care. And people who care don't fail, they just take longer to succeed." I went home that night and applied for a line of credit. I fixed the pipes. I kept going. 6 months later, Ms. Evelyn knocked on the door of my office, a tiny rented space above a bagel shop in White Plains. "I need to tell you something," she said. "Okay. My daughter wants me to move to North Carolina, live with her." My stomach dropped. "Are you going too?" "I don't know, I don't want to leave, but she worries." "What do you want?" She looked at me. "I want to stay. This is my home, but I need to know it's going to still be here, that you're not going to sell the building or turn it into condos or whatever it is people do now. I'm not going to sell it. You promise?" "I promise," she nodded, sat down in the chair across from my desk. "Can I tell you something else?" "Anything." "I don't know what you're building, Claire, but I can tell it's going to be something. I've seen a lot of young people come through this neighborhood. Most of them are just passing through, using it as a stepping stone to somewhere better. But you're different. You're planting roots. That's rare." I didn't know what to say. No one had ever said anything like that to me before. "Thank you," I said. "You're welcome." She stood up, smoothed her skirt. "And if you ever need anything, you let me know. I mean that." She stayed. I kept the building. And every Sunday after that, she brought me food. Casseroles, soups, fresh bread. She said it was because I worked too much and didn't eat right, but I think it was because she knew I needed someone to see me, really see me. My family didn't see me. They saw the version of me they expected. The one who was trying her best but would probably never amount to much. I was 27 when Rebecca had her first baby. A boy, 7 pounds 9 ounces, named Carter. My mother called me from the hospital, crying happy tears. "You have to come meet him," she said. "He's perfect." I drove to Connecticut the next day. I brought flowers and a gift card to a baby store. I held Carter and told Rebecca she looked amazing, which was true. My mother pulled me aside in the hallway. "Rebecca's going to take a year off work, maybe more. Jason's doing so well they don't need her income." Jason was Rebecca's husband. He worked in finance. They had a house with a 3-car garage and a pool. "That's great," I said. "It must be nice," my mother said, "to have that option." I didn't say anything. "Are you seeing anyone?" she asked. "Not seriously." "You should make time for that, Claire. You're not getting any younger." I was 27. Rebecca was 26. "I'll keep that in mind," I said. I drove home and didn't visit again for 6 months, but I sent gifts. I always sent gifts. Toys for Carter. Flowers for Rebecca's birthday. A cashmere scarf for my mother at Christmas. I was good at that, keeping up appearances. Making sure no one could say I didn't try. What they didn't know was that I was building something they couldn't see. Every property I bought, I put in the name of the LLC. Every profit I made, I reinvested. I lived modestly. I drove a 10-year-old Honda. I bought my clothes at discount stores. I didn't go on vacations or eat at expensive restaurants or do anything that would make anyone notice how much money I was actually making. Patricia noticed. She was the only one. We were having lunch at a diner in White Plains. She ordered a tuna melt. I ordered coffee and a side of fries. "You're doing it," she said. "Doing what?" "Building an empire," I laughed. "It's 9 properties, that's not an empire." "It is if you're 27. She pointed at me with a French fry. "How much are you worth now?" I hesitated. "Come on," she said. "You can tell me." "A little over 4 million on paper," she whistled. "And your family has no idea." "No, why not?" I stirred my coffee. "Because the moment I tell them, it becomes about them. My mother will want to know why I didn't ask for advice. My father will want to know why I'm not investing differently. Rebecca will feel bad that she didn't do something similar. and none of them will actually be happy for me. They'll just be confused about how I did it without them. Patricia nodded slowly. So what are you waiting for? Waiting for? To tell them. You're building all this, hiding all this. For what? At some point you have to let them see. I will. Eventually. When? I didn't have an answer. I was 29 when I met David. He was an architect, soft-spoken, funny in a quiet way. We met at a property inspection. He was consulting on a renovation I was planning for a building in Tarrytown. We dated for 8 months. It was nice. Easy. He didn't ask a lot of questions. He didn't need to know about my family or my past or why I worked 80 hours a week. He liked me. I liked him. That felt like enough. I brought him to Thanksgiving. My mother opened the door and her face did something complicated. Surprise, maybe, or concern. Claire, she said, you didn't tell me you were bringing someone. I mentioned it. No, you didn't, I had in a text 2 weeks earlier, but I didn't argue. I just smiled and introduced David. He shook her hand. It's so nice to meet you, Mrs. Novick. Claire's told me so much about you. Has she? My mother's smile was thin. Well, come in, we'll make room. We made room. Rebecca and Jason were already there with Carter, who was 2 by then. My father was in the living room watching football. My aunt and uncle were in the kitchen. David and I sat on the couch. My mother brought us wine. Rebecca asked David what he did for a living, and he explained that he was an architect, mostly residential projects. That's wonderful, Rebecca said. Are you working on anything interesting? A few things. Claire and I are actually collaborating on a renovation in Tarrytown. My mother looked at me. You're renovating something? A building I own. We're converting the top 2 floors into apartments. You own a building? A few, actually. The room went very quiet. My father muted the television. A few, my mother repeated. Yes. How many is a few? I should have lied. I should have said 2 or 3, something small enough not to matter. But I was tired of lying. So I said 11. My mother set down her wine glass. You own 11 buildings. Yes. And you didn't think to mention this? It never came up. It never, Claire, that's not something that just doesn't come up. That's your whole life. Exactly. She stared at me. My father stood up from his chair and walked over. What do you mean 11 buildings? I mean I own 11 buildings. Mixed use, mostly residential, in Westchester and Queens. How did you pay for them? I started with the one Grandma Zofia left me. I refinanced and bought more. I've been doing this for 6 years. Rebecca said, Claire, that's amazing. Why didn't you tell us? Because you never asked. Because every time I tried to talk about work, you changed the subject. Because you all decided a long time ago who I was and nothing I did was going to change that. But I didn't say any of that. I just said I didn't think you'd be interested. My mother laughed, not a real laugh, a sharp, bitter sound. Of course we're interested. You're our daughter. But this is absurd. You can't just own 11 buildings. I don't just own them, I manage them. It's my full-time job. You're a landlord. My father said it like a diagnosis. Yes, he shook his head. That's not sustainable, Claire. You should sell them while the market's good. Invest in something stable. They are stable. I've had positive cash flow for 4 years. You're going to get sued, tenants sue, that's what they do. I have insurance and a lawyer. A lawyer. My mother pressed her fingers to her temple. This is exactly what I was afraid of. You make these decisions without asking anyone, and now you're in over your head. I'm not in over my head. You don't know that. I looked at David. He was sitting very still, his hands folded in his lap. He looked like he wanted to disappear. I looked at Rebecca. She was watching me with something like concern or maybe pity. I looked at my mother, and I saw it. The thing I had been seeing my whole life but had never been able to name. She didn't want me to succeed. She wanted me to need her. I stood up. We should go. Claire, thank you for having us. The turkey was great. Sit down. We're not finished talking about this. Yes, we are. I walked to the door. David followed. Nobody tried to stop us. In the car, David said, Are you okay? Yes. That was intense. That was normal. He didn't say anything for a long time. Then quietly, They don't see you, do they? No, they don't. I do. I looked at him. He was staring straight ahead, his hands on the steering wheel even though I was the one driving. I know, I said. We broke up 2 months later. Not because of that night. Because he wanted someone who would be home for dinner, someone who didn't work weekends, someone who could take a vacation without checking her phone every 20 minutes. He wanted someone softer, less focused, more available. I didn't blame him. I wanted those things too sometimes. But I wanted what I was building more. I was 31 when I bought my first commercial property. A small office building in downtown White Plains. 6 stories, 50,000 square feet, 15 tenants. The financing took 4 months. The renovations took another 8. By the time it was finished, I had put everything I had into it. Every dollar, every ounce of credit, If it failed, I would lose everything. It didn't fail. Within 6 months, the building was fully leased. Within a year, I had enough profit to start looking at the next one. I was 33 when I broke 10 million in assets. 35 when I broke 20 million. I still didn't tell my family. I went to birthdays. I sent Christmas presents. I showed up at Carter's preschool graduation and Rebecca's second baby shower. A girl this time. Emma. I held Emma in the hospital and my mother said, "You'd make a wonderful mother, Claire, if you ever made time for it." I smiled. I handed Emma back to Rebecca. I left before anyone could ask me why I was still single, still working too much, still living in that tiny apartment in White Plains. The apartment wasn't tiny. It was a 2-bedroom condo I had bought 3 years earlier, 1,200 square feet, renovated kitchen, but I never corrected her. I let her think what she wanted to think. I was 36 when I met Marcus. He was a contractor. I hired him to oversee a major renovation on one of my properties in Yonkers. He was calm, competent, and kind. He didn't ask me to explain myself. He didn't need me to be anything other than what I was. We dated for a year before he proposed. Small ceremony, just the two of us and a judge. I didn't invite my family. I told them afterward, sent a photo, said we would have a party later. My mother called me immediately. "You got married?" "Yes," without telling us. We wanted something simple. Simple, her voice cracked. "Your sister had 200 people at her wedding, Claire. We paid for everything, and you couldn't even invite us to yours? It wasn't about you. Everything you do is about us. You spend your whole life trying to prove you don't need us, and then you act surprised when we're hurt." I almost hung up. I almost said something cruel, but instead I said, "I'm sorry you're hurt. That wasn't my intention." "Then what was your intention?" "To get married, that's all." She didn't call me back for 3 months. Marcus and I were good together. He understood what I was building. He had built his own business from nothing, understood the hours, the stress, the constant weight of being responsible for other people's livelihoods. We worked side by side. We talked about properties over dinner. We made plans, and then I got pregnant. It wasn't planned. I was 37. I had never thought seriously about having children. I was too busy, too focused. Too aware that I didn't know how to be a mother because I had never really felt like a daughter. But when I saw the test, 2 pink lines, I felt something I hadn't expected. Relief. Marcus cried when I told him, happy tears. He picked me up and spun me around my kitchen and said, "We're going to be parents." "We are. Are you happy?" I nodded. I was. I told my family at 6 weeks. I didn't wait for the safe zone. I just wanted them to know. My mother cried. Real tears this time. She hugged me and said, "Oh, Claire, finally?" Finally, like I had been waiting my whole life to do something right. Rebecca threw me a baby shower. 70 people, pastel decorations, a cake shaped like a stroller. I smiled and opened presents and thanked everyone and felt like I was watching myself from somewhere far away. My mother pulled me aside in the middle of the party. "I'm so proud of you." "Thank you. You're going to be a wonderful mother." "I hope so." "You will be. You just have to let yourself relax a little. You can't work the way you do with a baby. I'll figure it out. I'm just saying it's okay to ask for help. Rebecca had a nanny from day one. It's not a failure, it's smart." I nodded. I didn't tell her that I had already hired a part-time assistant to take over some of my property management duties. I didn't tell her that I had been planning for this for months. I had learned by then not to tell her anything until it was already done. My daughter was born on a Tuesday. 7 pounds 3 ounces. Dark hair, Marcus's eyes, perfect. I named her Lily. My mother came to the hospital with flowers. She held Lily and cried and said, "She's beautiful. She looks just like Rebecca did as a baby." She didn't. Lily looked like Marcus, but I didn't correct her. The first 6 months were hard in ways I hadn't expected. Not because of Lily, because of myself. I kept waiting to feel like I knew what I was doing. I kept waiting to feel like a mother. Instead, I just felt like someone who was trying very hard not to mess up. Marcus was patient. He changed diapers and woke up for night feedings and never once made me feel like I was failing. Ms. Evelyn came to visit when Lily was 2 weeks old. She brought soup and bread and sat in my living room while I tried to figure out how to nurse without crying. "You're doing great," she said. "I don't feel like I'm doing great." Nobody does. That's the secret. Every mother feels like she's failing. "But you're here, you're trying. That's all that matters." "What if I'm not good at this?" she smiled. "You're good at everything you put your mind to. Why would this be different?" Because it was the first thing I had ever done that couldn't be solved with a business plan, because I couldn't control it. Because Lily needed me in a way no one had ever needed me before, and I didn't know if I was enough. But I didn't say any of that. I just said, "Thank you." Lily grew. She smiled. She laughed. She reached for me when she was scared. And slowly, very slowly, I started to feel like maybe I could do this. I went back to work when she was 4 months old, not full-time, but enough. I brought her with me sometimes, set up a playpen in my office. My assistant didn't mind. She said it made the place feel more human. My mother said I was making a mistake. You should be home with her, Claire. These are the most important years. I am with her. Not enough. I didn't argue. I just kept doing what I was doing. Lily was 2 when Marcus died. Heart attack. Sudden, he was on a job site. The crew called 911. They did CPR. It didn't matter. I got the call at 3 in the afternoon. I was at a property inspection in New Rochelle. I remember exactly what the room looked like. White walls, hardwood floors, afternoon light coming through the windows. I drove to the hospital. I sat in a room with pale green walls and vinyl chairs. A doctor came in and said words I couldn't process. I called my mother. She came. She brought Rebecca. They sat with me while I made phone calls, signed papers, arranged things. They took Lily home with them so I could go to the funeral home. And for 3 days, they were exactly what I needed. Present, helpful, kind. But on the 4th day, my mother said, "You should sell the business." I looked up from the paperwork I was sorting. Marcus's death certificate, life insurance forms. What? The business. You can't manage it on your own with a 2-year-old. You should sell it while it's still worth something. It's worth a lot. I know, that's what I'm saying. Sell it now, invest the money, focus on Lily. I'm not selling my business. Claire, be realistic, you can't do this alone. Why not? Because it's too much, you're going to burn out. I looked at her. She was sitting on my couch, her hands folded in her lap, her face full of concern. She didn't think I could do it. She had never thought I could do it. I'll figure it out, I said. She sighed. You always say that. Because I always do. I didn't sell the business. I hired more help. I restructured my schedule. I brought Lily with me when I could. I left her with a nanny when I couldn't, and I kept building. Lily was 3 when my father retired. He and my mother sold their house in Westchester and bought a condo in Stamford. Smaller, easier to maintain. They talked about traveling, about spending more time with the grandkids. They saw Carter and Emma every week. They saw Lily maybe once a month. I didn't push. I didn't ask why. I just kept showing up when I was invited and leaving when it was clear I wasn't wanted. Lily was 5 when she asked me why Grandma liked Emma better. We were in the car. I was driving her home from a family dinner. She was in her car seat, staring out the window. She doesn't, I said. Yes, she does. She talks to Emma more. She hugs her more. She gave Emma a present today and she didn't give me one. I didn't have an answer because it was true. Sometimes, I said carefully, people show love in different ways. Do you think Grandma loves me? Of course she does. Then why doesn't she act like it? I pulled into a parking lot. I turned off the car. I turned around in my seat to look at her. I don't know, baby, but it's not because of you. You are wonderful. You are smart and kind and funny and perfect. If Grandma doesn't see that, that's her problem, not yours. But it still hurts. No, she cried. I held her hand and let her cry and hated my mother more than I had ever hated anyone in my life. Lily was 6 when I told her about the business. Not everything, just enough, that I own buildings, that I helped people have homes, that I worked hard so that she would always be safe. She asked how many buildings. 27, I said. That's a lot. It is. Are we rich? I hesitated. We're comfortable. What does that mean? It means we have what we need. And some of what we want. She thought about that. Emma's family has a pool. I know. Can we get a pool? Maybe someday. Okay. She went back to coloring. Then, without looking up, I think you're the best mom. I cried that night after she was asleep. Quiet tears in my bedroom because she saw me, really saw me, and she thought I was enough. Lily was 7 when Rebecca called me out of the blue. Can you lend me money? I was at a property showing. I stepped outside. What? Jason lost his job. We need help with the mortgage. How much? $45,000, just until he finds something else. I didn't hesitate. Yes, really? Yes, I'll transfer it today, she cried. Thank you, Claire. I'll pay you back, I promise. Don't worry about it. No, I will, as soon as Jason, Rebecca, it's fine, we're family. I transferred the money that afternoon. I didn't tell my mother, I didn't tell anyone. Rebecca never paid me back. I didn't expect her to. But 6 months later, I found out Jason had gotten a new job 3 weeks after Rebecca called me. Same salary, better benefits. They had taken a vacation to Hawaii the month after I gave them the money. I saw the photos on Facebook. Rebecca in a bikini, Jason with a Mai Tai. Carter and Emma building sandcastles. I didn't say anything. I just stopped answering when Rebecca called. Lily was 8 when my cousin Daniel died. Overdose. He was 34. The funeral was on a Saturday. Big church, lots of people. Daniel had been popular, the kind of person everyone liked even when he was struggling. I brought Lily. She had met Daniel a few times. She didn't understand why we were there, not really, but she knew it was important. We sat in the back. My mother was in the front row with my father and Rebecca. I could see the back of her head, her gray hair perfect, her shoulders straight. The service was long. People talked about Daniel's kindness, his humor, his struggles. A cousin read a poem. Daniel's sister spoke and couldn't finish. And then my mother stood up. She walked to the podium. She looked out at the crowd. 150 people, maybe more. "Thank you all for being here," she said. Her voice was steady, strong. "Daniel would have loved seeing all of you." She talked about his childhood, his love of baseball, the time he broke his arm jumping off the garage roof. And then she said, family was everything to Daniel. He always made sure everyone felt included. Everyone felt welcome. She paused, looked right at me. "That's why today we want to keep this service just for family, immediate family." My stomach dropped. "I know some of you brought guests," she continued, "and we appreciate that, but we ask that during the reception only family sit at the designated tables. We want to keep this intimate." She was still looking at me. No, she was looking at Lily. "Some people here weren't supposed to be part of this family," my mother said. Her voice didn't shake. "But we do our best to be gracious." The room was silent. I stood up, slowly. Lily looked up at me, confused. I took her hand. I walked down the aisle. Every eye in that church was on us. My mother was still at the podium. I walked past her. I walked to the spot where Daniel's sister had spoken. I turned to face the crowd, and I pulled the letter out of my purse. The one Lily had written 3 weeks ago when my mother told her she couldn't come to Thanksgiving. I unfolded it. My hands were shaking. "My name is Claire Novick," I said. "And this is my daughter, Lily. She wrote this letter to her grandmother last month. I'd like to read it." My mother said, "Claire, this isn't the time, dear grandma," I read. "I don't understand why you don't like me. Mommy says it's not my fault, but I think maybe I did something wrong. I tried to be good at Thanksgiving last year. I sat quiet and I said thank you and I didn't ask for seconds even though I was hungry." I could hear people shifting in their seats. Mommy told me something last week. She said that when she was little she felt the same way, like she didn't belong, like she was a mistake, and then she told me that Grandpa isn't really her dad. My mother went pale, actually pale. Mommy did a DNA test. She showed me the results. She said it's okay that we're different. That family doesn't have to be about blood, but I wanted you to know that I know, and I'm sorry I don't have the right blood. But I'm here anyway. And I'm not going anywhere. I folded the letter. I looked at my mother. "She was never supposed to exist," I said. "That's what you just told everyone, but she does, and she deserves better than this." My mother opened her mouth. Nothing came out. I turned to the crowd. "For anyone wondering, yes, I did a DNA test 6 months ago. My father, the man I called my father for 37 years, is not my biological father. My mother had an affair. She got pregnant. She passed me off as his, and she has spent my entire life punishing me for existing." My father stood up. His face was gray. "And that," I said, "is why my daughter and I will be leaving now." I took Lily's hand. We walked back down the aisle. Behind me, I heard my mother say something. I didn't turn around. We were almost to the door when I heard footsteps, not my mother. Security, 2 men in dark suits, church security. "Ma'am," one of them said, "we're going to have to ask you to leave." I looked back. My mother was standing at the podium, her phone in her hand. She had called them. "We're already leaving," I said. They walked us to the parking lot anyway. Made sure we got in the car, stood there until I drove away. Lily was quiet the whole drive home. Finally, she said, "Are you okay, Mommy?" I realized I was smiling. "Yes, baby, I'm okay." What happens now? I thought about the letter in my purse. About the DNA test results, I had shown exactly 3 people. My attorney, Patricia, and Ms. Evelyn. About the trust fund I had set up for Lily when she was born. $4 million, untouchable by anyone but her. About the properties in my name, 32 of them now, worth $57 million. About the fact that my mother had no idea. None of them did. "Now," I said, "we go home, and tomorrow we start making some phone calls." The next morning, I called Patricia Reyes. She picked up on the second ring. "I saw the news." "What news?" "Your mother's Facebook post. She said you caused a scene at a funeral." I laughed, actual laughter. "I read a letter my daughter wrote. Must have been some letter. It mentioned a DNA test." Silence. Then, carefully, "Claire, what did you do?" I told the truth. "In front of 150 people." "Yes. And now," I looked at Lily. She was eating cereal at my kitchen table, her legs swinging. She had asked for strawberries this morning. I had cut them into perfect pieces the way she liked. "Now I need to know what my options are." "Legal options? All options." Patricia exhaled. "Come to my office, bring everything." I went that afternoon. Lily stayed with Ms. Evelyn, who had appeared at my door with coloring books and promised hot chocolate. "Take your time," Ms. Evelyn murmured. She squeezed my hand. "This is important." Patricia's office was in a converted brownstone in Mamaroneck. Third floor, windows overlooking the harbor. She had built her property management company into something formidable over 30 years. Sold it 5 years ago for $18 million. Stayed on as a consultant because she was bored at home. She poured me coffee, sat across from her desk. "Tell me everything." I told her about the DNA test, about finding the results 6 months ago, about my mother's reactions over the years, the way she had always kept me at a distance, about the funeral. "And your father?" Patricia asked. "The man who raised you, does he know?" "Not from me, but he knows now. Everyone knows now." "How do you feel about that?" "I don't know yet." She nodded, wrote something down. "What do you want to happen next?" "I want to protect Lily. I want to make sure my mother can never hurt her the way she hurt me. Legally, your mother has no rights to Lily. You're the parent. You can restrict access anytime." "I know, but I want more than that." "What do you mean?" I hesitated. "I want them to see what they missed, what they dismissed. I want them to understand that every time they underestimated me, I was building something they couldn't imagine, and I want it documented. I want proof. So if they ever try to claim I owe them something, I can show exactly what happened." Patricia set down her pen. "You want to go public." "Eventually." "With what?" "The business, the properties, everything I've built." "They don't know." "They know I own buildings. They don't know how many or what they're worth." "And what are they worth?" 57 million, give or take." Patricia whistled soft and low. "Claire, that's not just money, that's generational wealth." "I know. And you've been hiding it." "Not hiding, just not advertising." "Why now? Why reveal it now?" I thought about Lily's letter, about my mother's face at the podium, about 37 years of being treated like I didn't quite belong. Because I'm done pretending I need their approval. We spent 3 hours going through my assets. Properties, accounts, trusts. Patricia made notes, asked questions, built a timeline. "You'll need a family law attorney," she finally announced. "Someone who specializes in estate planning and asset protection. I know someone, Rachel Okonkwo, she's brilliant." "Okay. But Claire," Patricia leaned forward. "Before you do this, I need you to be sure. Once you reveal this kind of wealth to your family, you can't take it back. They'll have expectations, demands, you need to be prepared for that." "I've been preparing my whole life." I met with Rachel Okonkwo the following week. Her office was in White Plains, sleek and modern. She was maybe 45, sharp suit, sharper eyes. "Patricia filled me in," Rachel began. "No small talk, I appreciated that. You want to protect your assets from family claims?" "Yes." "Good, let's start with what you have." I handed her the folder Patricia had helped me compile. Property deeds, account statements, trust documents. Rachel read through everything, didn't speak for 10 minutes, finally looked up. "This is impressive." "You built this from one inherited property?" "Yes." "And your family genuinely doesn't know the scope?" "No." "Have you ever accepted financial help from them, co-signed anything, used family money for down payments?" "No, everything came from my business or refinancing my own properties." "Good, that makes things cleaner." She made a note. "Tell me about the trust you set up for your daughter." $4 million, irrevocable trust. She gets access at 25. "I'm the trustee until then?" "Who else knows about it?" "You, Patricia, the attorney who set it up." "Not your mother?" "Absolutely not." Rachel nodded. "Here's what I recommend. We create a comprehensive family estate plan that clearly documents the source of every asset. We show the timeline, where the money came from, how it grew, who contributed what. Then we make sure your mother and extended family can never claim they helped you or that you owe them anything." "Can they try?" "People can try anything, but if we document this properly, they won't succeed." I hired her that day. Over the next month, I did something I had never done before. I organized my entire professional life into a narrative. Every property purchase, every loan, every refinancing, every tenant, every renovation, every decision. Rachel's paralegal, a young woman named Sophie, helped me create a timeline. We color-coded it. Blue for property acquisitions, green for business milestones, red for family interactions. The red was sparse. Scattered, mostly birthdays and holidays. "Your family saw you maybe 10 times a year," Sophie observed. She wasn't judging, just noting, if that. "And they never asked about work?" "They asked," I deflected. "Why?" I looked at the timeline. At 37 years of building something entirely separate from them. "Because the moment they knew, it would become about them. About what I owed them. About how I should have asked for their advice. About how lucky I was." I paused. "It was never luck." Sophie nodded, went back to typing. but keeping the secret was getting harder. My mother called 2 weeks after the funeral. I didn't answer. She left a voicemail. Claire, we need to talk. What you did was unacceptable. You humiliated me in front of everyone. I don't know what you think you accomplished, but you owe me an apology. Call me back. I deleted it. She called again the next day, and the day after that. Finally, I answered. Hello, mother. Don't hello mother me. Do you have any idea what you've done? I read a letter. You made a private family matter public. People are talking. People are asking questions. Good, let them ask. Claire, this isn't a joke. Your father is devastated. Rebecca is getting calls from relatives. This affects all of us. It's always affected all of us. You just didn't want anyone to know. Her voice turned cold. I think you need some time to calm down. When you're ready to have an adult conversation, you know where to find me. She hung up. I sat in my car outside Lily's school, waiting for pickup. My hands were shaking, not from anger, from something else. Relief maybe. My phone buzzed, a text from Rebecca. Mom's really upset. Can we talk? I called her. Hey, Rebecca answered. She sounded tired. Hey, so that was intense. Yes. Mom said you did a DNA test. Is that true? Yes. And Dad's not. She trailed off. No. He's not my biological father. Wow, okay, wow, I waited. Are you okay? She asked. I'm fine. Do you know who your real father is? No, and I don't particularly care. Claire, come on, you have to care a little. Why? Because it's your father, your biological father. Don't you want to know? Not really. He's never been part of my life. Why would I care now? Rebecca went quiet, then soft. I'm sorry. For what? For not noticing, for not asking, for just accepting how Mom treated you. I pulled into the school parking lot. Parents were lining up. I could see Lily's classroom window. It's not your fault, Rebecca. Still, I should have said something. You were a kid too. We're not kids anymore. No, we're not. Can I ask you something? Sure. Why now? Why tell everyone now? Because I was tired. Because Lily deserved better. Because I had spent 37 years being careful and quiet and it hadn't protected me from anything. But I didn't say that. I said because it was time. Rebecca sighed. Mom's not going to let this go, you know? I know. She's already talking about family therapy, about getting everyone together to work through this. I'm not interested in therapy with her. Yeah, I figured, but just be prepared, she's going to push. Let her push. We hung up. I watched Lily come out of the building, her backpack almost as big as she was. She saw me and waved. Big smile. Everything I had built for that smile. That night, I got an email from my father. Subject, we should talk. Body, Claire, I don't know what to say about the DNA test. I'm still processing it. But whatever happened between your mother and whoever else, you're still my daughter. I raised you. That counts for something. Can we meet? Just the two of us. I stared at the email for 20 minutes. Then I deleted it, because if he really thought of me as his daughter, he would have treated me like one. He wouldn't have dismissed my education. Wouldn't have told me to be realistic about my prospects. Wouldn't have stood by while my mother made it clear I was less important than Rebecca. Biology wasn't the problem. Love was. The close calls started 3 weeks later. My mother invited me to lunch. I almost said no, but Rebecca called first. Please come, she's driving me crazy. She just wants to talk. So I went. Small restaurant in Greenwich. White tablecloths. My mother was already seated when I arrived. Claire. She stood. Tried to hug me. I stepped back. Let's just sit. We sat. She ordered a salad. I ordered coffee. You look tired, she observed. I'm fine. How's Lily? Good. I'd like to see her. We'll see. My mother folded her hands on the table. I owe you an apology. I waited. What I said at the funeral was inappropriate. I was emotional. Daniel's death hit me hard and I wasn't thinking clearly. You called my daughter a mistake in front of 150 people. I didn't say that. You said she was never supposed to exist. I meant, she stopped, started again. I meant the situation was complicated, not that Lily shouldn't exist. That's not how it sounded. I'm sorry you took it that way. There it was, the non-apology, the subtle shift from I'm sorry I said it to I'm sorry you're sensitive. I picked up my coffee. Is that all? No, I want to talk about the DNA test, why you felt the need to do it. Why you felt the need to announce it publicly. I didn't announce it, I read Lily's letter, which mentioned the test. Yes. Why did you take the test in the first place? I looked at her, really looked. She was 63, still beautiful, still put together, still acting like she was the victim. Because I wanted to know the truth. And now you know, your father, your biological father, was a mistake. A brief lapse in judgment 38 years ago. It doesn't change anything. It changes everything. How? Because it explains why you've spent my entire life making me feel like I don't belong. She inhaled sharply. That's not fair. Isn't it? I gave you everything. Food, clothes, education, you gave me the bare minimum, and you made sure I knew it was more than I deserved. Claire, that's not. Rebecca got piano lessons. I got told music wasn't my thing. Rebecca got a car. I got permission to borrow yours. Rebecca got 4 years of college paid for. I got 2 years and a lecture about being realistic. We had financial constraints. You paid for Rebecca's wedding. 3 years later, you told me you couldn't help with my business because money was tight. Don't talk to me about financial constraints. My mother's face did something I hadn't seen before. Her jaw tightened. She blinked 3 times fast. You don't understand how hard it was, she said quietly. Looking at you every day and seeing him. Who? Your father, your biological father. Who is he? It doesn't matter. It matters to me. He's gone. He died years ago. There's no point. What was his name? She stood up. I'm not doing this. I came here to apologize, to try to make things right, and you're attacking me. I'm asking questions. You're being cruel? She walked out, left her salad untouched, left me sitting there with the check. I paid. I drove home. I called Rachel Okonkwo. She won't tell me who my biological father is. Rachel was quiet for a moment. Do you want to know? I want to know why she won't tell me. Those are different things. I know. Claire, I can help you find out if you want. DNA databases, records, it's not that hard anymore. Maybe later. Right now, I just need to know she can't use it against me. She can't. The DNA test proves you're not biologically related to your father, the man who raised you. But legally, he's still your father. He's on your birth certificate. He raised you. That's what matters in terms of inheritance rights, family law, all of it. Good. But Claire, you need to prepare for the fact that your mother might try to claim you owe her something, financially. For raising you, it won't work, but she might try. Let her try. I hung up and went to check on Lily. She was in her room building something with Legos. Mommy, look, it's a castle. It's beautiful. Can we go see Grandma soon? My chest tightened. Why? I want to show her my castle. Maybe not right now, baby. Why not? Because Grandma and I need some space. Forever? I don't know yet. She went back to building. After a minute, without looking up, I don't think Grandma likes me very much. That's not true. Yes, it is. It's okay. You like me. Ms. Evelyn likes me. That's enough. I sat down next to her, helped her find a blue brick. You're right, I murmured. That is enough. The second close call came a month later. Rebecca's birthday party, I debated not going, but Lily wanted to see Carter and Emma, and I didn't want to punish my niece and nephew for their grandmother's behavior. The party was at Rebecca's house in Darien. Big backyard, bounce house, catered food. My mother was there. She smiled when she saw me, tight, controlled. Claire, I'm glad you came. It's Rebecca's birthday. Of course. She didn't try to hug me, didn't ask about Lily. Just turned and walked back to the adults clustered near the grill. I helped Lily find the bounce house, watched her jump with Carter and Emma. Rebecca came over with 2 glasses of wine. One for you? Thanks. Mom's being weird. When isn't she? Rebecca laughed. Then quieter, she's been asking questions. About what? About you, your business, how much you actually own. My stomach dropped. What did you tell her? Nothing, because I don't know anything, you never talk about it. I manage properties. You know that? Yeah, but like, how many, what kind? Are you doing okay financially? I sipped the wine, watched Lily bounce. I'm doing fine. That's not an answer. It's the answer you're getting. Rebecca studied me. You're different lately. How? I don't know, more. Closed off, like you're holding something back. I've always been private. Not like this, it's like you don't trust any of us anymore. I turned to look at her. Do you blame me? She flinched. No, I guess not. We stood in silence. Watch the kids bounce. Then Rebecca said, Jason got a new job. That's great. Yeah, better pay, better hours, we're finally getting our heads above water. I almost said it. Almost said, you got your heads above water 6 months ago. You took a vacation to Hawaii. You never needed my $45,000. But I didn't, because I wanted to see what else she would say. We're thinking about paying you back, she continued. The money you lent us, we can start with $5,000. Maybe more in a few months. You don't have to. I want to. I know we said we'd pay you back and we haven't. It's been weighing on me. She sounded genuine, looked genuine, but I had seen the photos, the beach, the resort, the smiles. Whenever you can, I replied evenly. There's no rush. My mother appeared next to us. What are we talking about? Nothing, Rebecca answered too quickly. My mother's eyes narrowed. Rebecca told me you helped them out financially. That was generous of you. It's what family does. How much did you lend them? That's between me and Rebecca. I'm just asking, if you have extra money, I'm sure there are better investments than bailing out your sister's mortgage. Rebecca's face went red. Mom, I'm just saying, Claire has always been so careful with money, I'd hate to see her waste it. I set down my wine glass, carefully. I didn't waste it. Of course not, I know what you mean. My mother smiled. That thin, controlled smile. How's business anyway, your little property thing? It's fine. Still just the few buildings? I'm managing. You know, if you ever want advice, your father knows people in commercial real estate. He could make some calls. I'm good. I'm just trying to help. I know, thank you. She walked away. Rebecca exhaled. Sorry, she's been like this all week, asking about you, about your business. I think she's trying to figure out how mad she should be. About what? About the DNA test. About the funeral. About all of it. She keeps saying you embarrassed her, but I think she's more worried about what else you might know. What else would I know? Rebecca shrugged. I don't know, but you know Mom, she always has secrets. I drove home that night and called Patricia. She's asking questions. What kind of questions? About my business, how much I own. She's trying to figure out if I'm vulnerable. Are you? No, but I need to be more careful. I almost slipped today. Claire, maybe it's time to just tell them. Not yet. Why not? Because I want to see what they'll do first. I want to see if they come to me out of love or greed. Patricia was quiet. Then you're testing them. Yes, that's risky. I know. But also smart. If you're going to cut them off, you need to be sure. Exactly. What's your next move? I thought about it. About my mother's questions. About Rebecca's offer to pay me back. About my father's email sitting in my trash folder. I'm going to give them an opportunity. What kind of opportunity? The kind where they show me who they really are. Test 1 came 2 weeks later. I invited my mother to coffee, just the two of us. Neutral ground, a Starbucks in Stamford. She arrived 10 minutes late, kissed my cheek like nothing had happened. This is nice, she said as she sat down. I've missed you. Have you? Of course, you're my daughter. I sipped my coffee. I need to talk to you about something. Okay. Lily's school. They're doing a fundraiser, trying to renovate the library. They're asking families to contribute. My mother nodded. How much? Whatever people can afford. Some families are giving $100, some are giving more. And you want to give $2,000. Her eyebrows went up. That's a lot. It's important to me, but I'm a little short this month. Property taxes came in higher than expected. I was wondering if you could help. This was the test. $2,000. Not nothing, but not unreasonable. A grandparent helping with their grandchild's education. My mother stirred her coffee. Claire, you know I would love to help, but we're on a fixed income now. Your father's retired, we have our own expenses. I understand, even 500 would help. I just don't think we can swing it right now. Okay, but you know what? You should ask Jason and Rebecca. They're doing well now. Jason's new job pays really well. I looked at her. You want me to ask Rebecca for money? Why not? You help them, they should return the favor. It was a gift, not a loan. Well, still, family helps family. I finished my coffee, stood up. You're right, I'll figure it out. Claire, don't be upset. I'm not upset. Thank you for meeting me. I walked out, got in my car, drove 3 blocks, pulled over, called Rachel Okonkwo. She said no. To what? I asked for $2,000 for Lily's school. She said she couldn't afford it. Can she afford it? She and my father have at least $300,000 in retirement accounts. They own their condo outright. They take 2 vacations a year. Yes, she can afford it. So this was a test. Yes, and she failed. Completely. Rachel was quiet for a moment. What happens now? Now I move to test 2. Which is, I'm going to tell her something true, something small, and I'm going to see what she does with it. I set up test 2 for Thanksgiving. I knew my mother couldn't resist Thanksgiving. It was her favorite holiday. Her chance to gather everyone and play matriarch. She called me 6 weeks before. You're coming, right? I don't know yet. Claire, you have to come. It's Thanksgiving. Family should be together. We'll see. Please, I know things have been strained, but we need to move past this. I let her beg for 3 more minutes. Then I said, okay, we'll come. Thank you, and bring Marcus's parents if you want. There's always room. Marcus's parents had moved to Florida 2 years after he died, but I didn't correct her. Thanksgiving was at their condo in Stamford, smaller than the old house, but still nice. My mother had set the table for 12, Rebecca and Jason, Carter and Emma, my aunt and uncle, me and Lily. Lily wore a blue dress. I had let her pick it out. She looked beautiful. My mother barely looked at her. Dinner was the usual. Turkey, stuffing, all the traditional sides. My father carved, my mother directed. Rebecca helped in the kitchen. I sat with Lily and made sure she ate. After dinner, while the kids were watching a movie in the other room, my mother poured wine for the adults. I have an announcement, she said. Everyone looked up. Your father and I have decided to update our will. Rebecca glanced at me. I kept my face neutral. We've talked to an estate attorney, my mother continued. And we're setting up a trust for the grandchildren. Carter, Emma, and Lily will each get an equal share. That's wonderful, Rebecca murmured. How much? Jason asked. My mother smiled. $100,000 each, to be distributed when they turn 25. My aunt and uncle nodded approvingly. Rebecca looked pleased. I said nothing. Claire, my mother looked at me. What do you think? I think that's very generous. You don't seem excited. I'm grateful. Lily will be grateful when she's old enough to understand. We're doing this to be fair. To make sure all the grandchildren are taken care of equally. There it was, the emphasis on equally, as if I had ever asked for more. I appreciate that, I said. After pie, my mother pulled me aside in the kitchen. I want you to know we're also leaving the condo to Rebecca and you, 50-50, to sell or keep whatever you decide together. Okay. I know the two of you haven't always been close, but you're sisters, you should have something that connects you. Sure. She studied my face. You're being very calm about this. What do you want me to say? I don't know, thank you that you appreciate it. Thank you, I appreciate it, she frowned. Sometimes I can't tell what you're thinking anymore. I'm thinking it's nice that you're planning ahead, that you're making sure everyone's taken care of. But, Claire, if you have something to say, I don't. I started loading the dishwasher. She stood there for another minute, then walked away. In the car, Lily said, Grandma's giving me money when I'm 25. I heard. That's a long time from now. It is. Do you think it's a lot, $100,000? It's a generous gift. Are we rich, Mommy? I glanced at her in the rearview mirror. Why do you ask? Because Emma said her family is rich, and Carter said his family is richer, and I didn't know what to say. What do you think? I think we're okay. We have a nice house. You work a lot. We don't have a pool like Emma. Does that bother you? No, I like our house. Good. She was quiet for a while, then, are we richer than Grandma? My hands tightened on the steering wheel. What makes you ask that? I heard Aunt Rebecca talking to Uncle Jason. She said you probably have more money than anyone realizes. When did you hear that? When I went to get more pie. They were in the hallway. What else did they say? Uncle Jason said you were probably hiding money. Aunt Rebecca said that was mean. Then they saw me and stopped talking. I pulled into our driveway, turned off the car, turned around to look at Lily. Do you know what privacy means? Like secrets? Sort of. Privacy means some things are just for us, not secrets because we're doing anything wrong, just ours, our business. Like your work, exactly like my work. Okay. If anyone asks you about money or about what I do, what should you say? I don't know. Perfect. I called Rachel the next day. Rebecca and Jason are talking. They think I'm hiding money. Are they asking you directly? Not yet, but they will. What are you going to tell them? Nothing, but I need to be prepared for when they push. Okay, let me ask you something. What's your end game here? You've been testing your family for months. You know they're selfish. You know they don't really value you. What are you waiting for? I looked out my office window. Watched cars pass on the street below. I'm waiting for them to ask me for something big, something that proves they only care about what I can give them, and then I'm going to say no, and then I'm going to show them exactly what they lost. That's vindictive. Yes, good, they deserve it. Test 3 happened in January. My mother called. Her voice was different, tight, scared. I need to talk to you about something. Okay. Not on the phone. Can you come over? I went that afternoon, just me. Lily was at school. My mother answered the door in sweatpants. No makeup. I had never seen her like this. Come in. We sat in the living room. She poured coffee with shaking hands. Your father's sick. Everything stopped. What? Prostate cancer, stage 3, we found out last week. Oh my God. He starts treatment next month, radiation first, maybe surgery. The doctors are optimistic, but it's going to be expensive. Our insurance will cover some of it, but not all. We're looking at maybe $70,000 out of pocket, maybe more. I set down my coffee cup. What do you need? We're going to have to sell some investments, dip into retirement, but I wanted to tell you first. In case, she trailed off. In case what? In case you wanted to help. There it was. How much? I don't know, whatever you can spare. 10,000, 20? I know you have your business. I know you've done well for yourself. I wouldn't ask if it wasn't serious. I looked at her. Really looked. She was scared, genuinely scared. This wasn't a test for her. This was real, which made it perfect. I need to think about it. Claire, I need to think about it. This is a lot of money. But he's your father. Is he? She went very still. What does that mean? You told me a few months ago that he's not my biological father, that I'm the product of a mistake. So I'm asking, is he my father? He raised you. That's not what I asked. My mother's face crumpled, actually crumpled. Please don't do this. Not now. Let you know. I picked up my purse. Tell Dad I hope the treatment goes well. I walked out. In my car, I sat for 10 minutes, hands on the steering wheel, breathing. Then I called Rachel. They asked, for what? Money. My father has cancer. They need $70,000 for treatment. Are you going to help? I don't know yet. Claire, cancer is serious. If he dies, I know, but this is also the moment I've been waiting for. This is where they show me if I'm a daughter or a bank account. I called Patricia next. I need to know something. If I give them money now, can they claim later that I owed it to them? That it wasn't a gift but a repayment for raising me? If you document it correctly, no. But Claire, you're overthinking this. The man raised you. He has cancer. Maybe this isn't the time for tests. He told me I'd never amount to much. He said I should learn a trade instead of going to college. He stood by while my mother treated me like I was less important than Rebecca for 37 years. Patricia was quiet, then softly, "What are you going to do?" "I'm going to wait. I'm going to see how long it takes them to ask again, and I'm going to see what they say when they do." My mother called 3 days later, then 5 days after that, then every day for a week. I didn't answer. She left voicemails. The first one was gentle, asking me to call back. The second was firmer, reminding me this was serious. The third was angry, telling me I was being childish. The fourth was from my father. "Claire, it's Dad. I know you're upset with your mother. I don't blame you, but I'm asking you, please, we need help. I'm starting treatment next week and we're already behind on payments. I wouldn't ask if it wasn't an emergency. Please call me back." I listened to it 3 times, then I called Ms. Evelyn. She answered on the first ring. "Claire, I was just thinking about you." "I come over." "Of course." I drove to Mount Vernon, sat in her kitchen, she made tea. "What's wrong?" she asked. I told her everything. The DNA test, the funeral, the tests, my father's cancer, my mother's calls. Ms. Evelyn listened without interrupting. When I finished, she took off her glasses and cleaned them. "What do you want to do?" she finally asked. "I want to help. But I also want them to understand that I'm not doing it because I owe them. I'm doing it because I'm choosing to. Because I'm a better person than they are." "Then tell them that." "How?" "Write it down, send them a check with a letter, tell them exactly how you feel. Don't let them twist it into something else later." I drove home and wrote the letter. It took 4 hours. I revised it 6 times. Then I wrote a check for $75,000, $5,000 more than they asked for. I put both in an envelope and mailed it. The letter said, "I'm enclosing $75,000 for Dad's treatment. This is a gift, not a loan, not an obligation. A choice I'm making because I want Dad to get the care he needs. I want to be clear about something. I don't owe you this money. You raised me, yes. You fed me and clothed me and gave me shelter. Those are the baseline responsibilities of being a parent. You don't get credit for doing the minimum. What you didn't give me was support, encouragement, belief. Every time I tried to do something, you told me to be realistic. Every time I succeeded, you dismissed it. Every time I needed you, you made it clear I was asking too much. So I built a life without you. I built a business. I built wealth. I built something you can't imagine because you never thought I was capable of it. This money comes from that work, from the business you called a little property thing, from the buildings you didn't think I could manage, from the investments you said I should have asked your advice about. I hope Dad's treatment goes well. I hope he recovers fully, but I want you to understand something. This is the last time I help you without being asked properly, with respect, with acknowledgement of what I've built and who I am. I'm not your backup plan. I'm not your safety net. I'm not the daughter who owes you for existing. I'm just the daughter who chose to help anyway. Claire, my mother called 2 days after she received it. "We got your check." "Good. And your letter." "Okay." "Claire, I don't understand why you're being so hostile. We asked for help and you helped. That's what family does." "I know. Then why the letter? Why make it so cold?" "Because I needed you to understand." "Understand what?" "That I don't need you, that I never needed you, that everything I have I built without you, and if you ever ask me for money again, you better ask nicely." Silence. Then, quietly, "How much do you have, Claire?" "Enough." "Enough for what?" "Enough that I'll never have to worry about money again. Enough that Lily will never have to ask anyone for help. Enough that when you die and leave me and Rebecca your condo, I won't even notice it in my portfolio." "Your portfolio?" "Yes." "How much?" "More than you can imagine." "Claire, I have to go. Tell Dad I hope he feels better." I hung up. That night, I sat with Rachel and Patricia in my office. We went through everything one more time. Every property, every account, every trust. Every document. "You're sure about this?" Rachel asked. "Yes. Once you go public, you can't take it back." "I know." Patricia leaned back in her chair. "They're going to lose their minds." "Good. They're going to claim you owe them. They're going to say you couldn't have done this without them. They're going to rewrite history." "Let them try. I have documentation for everything." Rachel nodded. "Okay, then let's talk about timing. When do you want to do this?" I thought about my mother's question. "How much do you have, Claire?" I thought about 37 years of being underestimated. I thought about Lily and the world I was building for her. Soon, very soon. I made the first call on March 2nd. Patricia Reyes, 7 in the morning. It's time. You're sure? Yes. Okay, I'll make the calls. The second call went to Rachel Okonkwo. I want to set up a family meeting. Everyone. My mother, my father, Rebecca, Jason. I want them all in one room. What are you going to tell them? Everything. I want you to remember what I said at the beginning. About whether I went too far. Keep that question in your mind during everything I am about to tell you. The catalyst came on March 15th. My father's treatment was going well. The radiation had shrunk the tumor. The doctors were optimistic. My mother had sent me exactly one text in 6 weeks. Dad's doing better. Thank you for your help. No apology. No acknowledgement of the letter. Just thanks for the money. I didn't respond. Rebecca called me that week. Mom's planning a family dinner to celebrate Dad's progress. She wants everyone there. Everyone? You, me, Jason, the kids, Aunt Linda and Uncle Paul. She's really trying, Claire. I think she wants to make things right. Does she? She told me she's been thinking about what you said, about how she treated you. She wants to apologize properly. I almost laughed. She said that? Yes, will you come? I thought about it. About the tests, about the letter. About the $75,000 I had given them and the silence that followed. When? Saturday, 6 o'clock, her place. I'll think about it. Claire, please, she's really trying. I hung up and called Patricia. They want a family dinner. Are you going? I don't know yet. Part of me wants to see what she'll actually say, if she can actually apologize. And if she can't, then I'll know for sure. Patricia was quiet for a moment. You've been building toward this for 4 months. Are you ready? Yes, everything's in place. Everything. Okay, then go, see what happens, but Claire, don't go in hoping she'll surprise you, go in knowing she won't. I went to the dinner, I brought Lily. I wore a simple black dress, nothing flashy. My hair pulled back, I looked like someone who had just come from the office, professional, composed. My mother answered the door. She had makeup on, a nice sweater. She looked nervous. Claire, thank you for coming. She tried to hug me. I let her briefly. Course? She looked down at Lily. Hi, sweetheart. Lily moved closer to me, didn't answer. My mother's smile tightened. Well, come in, everyone's here. The condo was full. Rebecca and Jason with Carter and Emma, my aunt and uncle, my father looking thinner but better sitting in his recliner. He stood when he saw me. Claire, Dad, you look good. I feel better, thanks to you. He reached out, I shook his hand. He looked surprised, maybe hurt, but he didn't push. Dinner was lasagna. Garlic bread, salad. My mother had set the table with her good dishes. She was trying, I had to give her that much. Carter and Emma sat with Lily at the kids' table in the kitchen. The adults sat in the dining room, my mother at one head, my father at the other. Small talk at first. Jason's work, Rebecca's volunteer project, my uncle's golf game. I ate quietly. Answered when spoken to. Watched. My mother cleared her throat. I wanted to say something. Everyone looked up. I'm glad we're all here tonight. Family is important, especially when we go through hard times. She looked at my father. These past few months have been scary, but they've also reminded me what matters, who matters. She turned to me. Claire, I owe you an apology. I set down my fork, waited. I've been thinking about what you said in your letter, about how I treated you, and you're right. I wasn't fair to you growing up. I had my reasons, but that doesn't make it okay. What were your reasons? I asked. She blinked. What? You said you had reasons. What were they? Claire, I don't think now is the time. You brought it up, I'm asking. My mother glanced at Rebecca, at my aunt, at my father. It's complicated. Uncomplicate it, she exhaled, set down her wine glass. Your biological father was someone I knew before I married your dad. We had a relationship. It ended badly. When I found out I was pregnant, I panicked. Your father, she gestured at him, stepped up. He married me. He raised you as his own, but every time I looked at you, I saw him, and it was hard. So you punished me. I didn't punish you. You treated me differently than Rebecca. You admitted that. I tried to be fair. You weren't fair. You were cold, distant. You made me feel like I was a mistake. That's not what I meant at the funeral. I was upset. You said Lily was never supposed to exist, in front of 150 people. My mother's face flushed. I apologized for that. No, you didn't. You said you were emotional. That's not an apology. Rebecca cut in. Claire, she's trying. Can't you see that? I looked at my sister. Stay out of this. I'm just saying she's apologizing. You could at least accept it gracefully. Accept what gracefully? She hasn't actually apologized. She's explained. There's a difference. My father spoke up. Claire, your mother is doing her best. We all make mistakes. Do you think you made a mistake, raising me? He looked genuinely startled. No, of course not. Then why did you treat me like I wasn't worth investing in? What are you talking about? College, Rebecca got 4 years paid for. I got 2 years and a lecture about being realistic. We had financial constraints. You paid for Rebecca's wedding 3 years later, $30,000 for one day, but you couldn't find $1,200 for my tuition. My mother's voice went sharp. We've been over this. We made the best decisions we could at the time. Based on what? What made Rebecca worth more than me? She wasn't worth more. Then what was it? Why did she get music lessons and I didn't? Why did she get a car and I had to borrow yours? Why did she get your time and attention and support and I got told to be sensible? The table went very quiet. My uncle was staring at his plate. My aunt was gripping her napkin. My mother's voice dropped to something dangerous. You want to know why? Yes, because Rebecca was easy. She was grateful. She didn't question everything. She didn't make me feel like I was constantly failing her. There it was, finally, the truth underneath everything. I stood up, slowly. Thank you for saying that. Claire, no, really, thank you, because now I know I wasn't imagining it. You really did love her more. That's not what I said. It's exactly what you said. I looked at my father. And you let her. For 37 years, you watched her treat me like I was less important and you said nothing. Claire, that's not fair, he started. Fair, you want to talk about fair? I picked up my purse, pulled out a folder, set it on the table. My mother stared at it. What is that? A timeline. Every time you chose Rebecca over me, every time you dismissed me, every time you told me to be realistic or sensible or grateful, dates, quotes, witnesses where applicable. Rachel had helped me put it together. 30 pages, single-spaced. My mother didn't touch it. Why would you make something like this? Because I wanted documentation, for when we got to this moment. What moment? The one where you try to rewrite history, where you claim you treated us equally, where you pretend you don't know why I'm angry. Rebecca was shaking her head. This is insane, Claire. You made a file about our childhood. I made a file about the truth. Why? Because you all have selective memory, and I needed proof. Jason leaned forward. Proof of what? That I don't owe them anything. My mother laughed, sharp, bitter. Is that what this is about, money? You think because you helped with your father's treatment, we owe you something? No, I think because you spent 37 years treating me like I was worth less, you owe me an apology, a real one. And I think you should know that the $75,000 I gave you, that was nothing. Pocket change. I barely noticed it. My father's face changed. What do you mean pocket change? I pulled out another folder, set it next to the first one. My financial summary, assets, liabilities, net worth as of last month. Nobody moved. Open it, I said. My mother reached out, her hand was shaking. She opened the folder. I watched her face, watched her eyes move down the page, watched her lips part. This can't be right. It is. You're saying you have, she stopped, swallowed. $57 million. 58 as of yesterday. I closed on another property. My father grabbed the folder, stared at it. This is real? Completely real, verified by my attorney, my accountant. Want to see the property deeds, the bank statements? I have those too. Rebecca was pale, actually pale. How? I worked, I built, I invested. I did everything you told me I couldn't do. My mother set down the folder. Her hands were flat on the table. You've had this much money and you never told us. Why would I? Because we're your family. Are we? Because for most of my life I didn't feel like family. I felt like the mistake you were stuck with. That's not true. It is true, and you proved it. Every test I gave you, you failed. What tests? My father's voice was quiet. The school fundraiser. I asked Mom for $2,000. She said she couldn't afford it. I knew she could. I was testing if she'd help Lily. She wouldn't. My mother's face went hard. You lied to me? I asked you for help. You said no. That's not lying. That's learning. What else? Rebecca asked. Her voice was strange, tight. I told you I needed money back. Remember, you said you'd start paying me back $5,000 at a time, but you'd already paid off the mortgage 6 months earlier. You took a vacation to Hawaii. You didn't need my $45,000. You just took it because I offered. Rebecca opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. How did you know about Hawaii? Facebook, you posted photos. We were going to pay you back. When? It's been 8 months. Jason cut in. That's different. That was a family loan. Was it? Because I thought family helped each other without keeping score, but apparently that only applies when I'm the one helping. My mother stood up. This is ridiculous. You set us up. You played games. I gave you opportunities to show me who you are. You showed me. By lying, I never lied. I asked for help. You said no. I offered help. You took it. Those are facts. What about your father's cancer? My mother's voice broke. Was that a test too? No, that was real, and I helped because he needed help. But the letter I sent with the check, that was real too. I meant every word. My father was staring at the financial summary. $58 million. Yes, from buildings, and good decisions. And working 80 hours a week for 15 years while you all thought I was running a little property thing. Rebecca's voice was small. Why didn't you tell us? Because the moment I did, it would stop being mine. It would become about you, about what you think I should do with it, about how I should invest it or spend it or share it. And I knew that if I told you wouldn't be happy for me, you'd just want a piece of it. That's not fair, my mother whispered. Isn't it? You have $300,000 in retirement, you own your condo, you take 2 vacations a year, but when I asked for $2,000 for your granddaughter's school, you said you couldn't afford it. That's not about money, that's about not wanting to help me. My Aunt Linda spoke for the first time. Claire, I think you're being very harsh. I looked at her. Where were you all those years when Mom made it clear I was different, when she treated Rebecca better? When Dad dismissed everything I tried to do, where were you? She didn't answer. That's what I thought. I picked up my purse. Lily, time to go. Lily appeared in the doorway. She had Emma's hand. Already? Yes, baby. But we're playing, I know, but we need to leave now. My mother found her voice. Claire, you can't just drop this bomb and leave. Watch me. We need to talk about this. No, we don't. I came here tonight to give you one more chance, to see if you could actually apologize. Actually acknowledge what you did. But you can't, you won't, so we're done. Done? My father stood up. What does that mean? It means I'm not coming to any more family dinners. I'm not answering calls. I'm not pretending we're close when we're not. You want a relationship with me, with Lily, you can earn it. But it starts with a real apology and real change. You can't cut us off, my mother said. We're your parents. You're the people who raised me. That's not the same thing. I walked toward the door. Lily followed. I could hear my mother behind me. Claire, please, don't do this. I stopped, turned around. I already did it. 4 months ago when you called my daughter a mistake at a funeral. This is just me making it official. I apologized for that. No, you explained it. You justified it. You never once said, I'm sorry I hurt you. You never once took responsibility. And you never will, because you don't think you did anything wrong. You think I'm too sensitive. Too demanding, too ungrateful. That's not, it is, and I'm done trying to convince you otherwise. Lily, let's go. We walked to the door. I could feel everyone watching. My hand was on the doorknob when my father called out. What about your inheritance? I turned. What? Your mother and I have a will. You and Rebecca split everything 50-50. The condo, the retirement accounts, everything. Are you walking away from that too? I looked at him, really looked. He thought that would stop me. He thought money was what I cared about. Yes, his face changed. You're serious. Completely. I don't want your condo. I don't want your retirement money. I don't want anything from you. Leave it all to Rebecca. I'm sure she'll appreciate it more than I would. Rebecca stood up. Claire, that's not fair to me. Why not? You were always the favorite. Now you get the inheritance too. Everyone wins. I don't want to be the favorite, Rebecca said, her voice cracked. I never asked for that. I know. But you accepted it, every single time. You let them treat me different and you said nothing. I was a kid. You're not a kid anymore, you're 35. And last month when Mom asked you what you thought about me, what did you say? She went very still. How do you know about that? Because Mom told me. She said you agreed I was being unreasonable, that I was holding grudges, that I needed to let the past go. I was trying to keep the peace, by taking her side, like always. Tears were running down Rebecca's face. I didn't know how bad it was. Yes, you did, you just didn't want to see it. I opened the door. Lily went through. I turned back one more time. I hope Dad stays healthy. I hope you all have a nice life, but I'm not part of it anymore, not like this. My mother's voice was ice. You'll regret this. No, I won't. When you need us, I won't need you. That's the whole point. I built a life where I don't need any of you. And it's a good life. A better life than I ever would have had if I'd stayed here begging for scraps of approval. I walked out, got in my car. Lily was quiet the whole drive home. Finally, she said, Are we still going to see Grandma? Not for a while. Okay, she looked out the window. I don't think she likes us very much anyway. Probably not. Is that okay? I glanced at her in the mirror. Yes, baby, that's okay. Some people don't know how to love people who are different from them. That's their problem, not ours. Okay. We drove home. I made hot chocolate. We watched a movie. Everything felt lighter, clearer, like I had been holding my breath for 37 years and finally let it out. My phone started ringing at 9. My mother, I declined. She called again, declined. Text messages started coming through. Rebecca, I'm sorry, I really am. Can we talk? My father, you're being rash. Sleep on this. My mother, you owe me a conversation. I turned off my phone. The next morning, I woke up to 43 missed calls, 17 voicemails, 62 text messages. I listened to one voicemail, my mother. Claire, this is ridiculous. You can't cut off your entire family because you're upset. Call me back. We need to discuss this like adults. I deleted them all, blocked her number, blocked my father's, blocked Rebecca's, then I called Patricia. It's done. How do you feel? Free. Good, what happens now? Now I live my life. Without them? But it wasn't quite that simple. 2 weeks later, Rebecca showed up at my office. I was in the middle of a tenant meeting when my assistant Sophie buzzed through. Your sister's here, says it's important. I almost said send her away, but something stopped me. Give me 5 minutes. I finished the meeting, walked out to the waiting area. Rebecca looked terrible. Red eyes, no makeup. She stood when she saw me. Claire. Rebecca, can we talk? I'm working. Please, just 10 minutes. I looked at Sophie. She gave me a small nod. My office. We walked back. I sat behind my desk. Rebecca sat across from me. I'm sorry, she said immediately. For what specifically? For not seeing it, for not defending you, for taking Mom's side, for all of it. I waited. I talked to Jason. I told him everything you said, about the tests, about how Mom treated you, and he said something that made me realize how blind I've been. What did he say? He said if someone treated Emma the way Mom treated you, I would burn the world down. And he's right, I would, but I didn't do that for you. I let it happen. I told myself it wasn't my place, that it wasn't that bad, but it was that bad, and I'm so sorry. I looked at my sister. She meant it, I could tell, but meaning it wasn't enough. Okay. I accept your apology. Relief flooded her face. Thank you, can we try to, no. What? I accept your apology. But that doesn't mean things go back to normal. You spent 35 years watching Mom treat me like I was less important. You benefited from it. You might not have asked for it, but you took it. And I can forgive that, but I can't forget it. So what does that mean? It means we're not close anymore. Maybe we will be someday, but not now, not yet. She started crying. Claire, you're my sister. I know, but you weren't mine, not when it mattered. That's not fair. It's fair, you had choices. Every time Mom dismissed me, you could have said something, you didn't, and I don't hate you for it, I really don't, but I can't trust you yet, trust takes time. She wiped her eyes, nodded. Okay, I understand. Good, she stood, hesitated. For what it's worth, I'm proud of you, what you built, it's incredible. Thank you, and I'm sorry it took me this long to see it. She left. I sat at my desk for a long time, then I called Ms. Evelyn. How are you doing, honey? She answered. I did it. I walked away. How does it feel? Strange, good, sad, all of it. That's normal, you're grieving. Grieving what? The family you wanted to have, that's not the same as regretting the choice you made. I don't regret it. I know you don't, but you're allowed to be sad anyway. I was quiet. Then, thank you for always seeing me. Oh, honey, you made yourself easy to see. You just needed someone looking. That night, I sat with Lily while she did homework. She was working on fractions. Struggling with a problem. It doesn't make sense, she complained. Let me see. I walked her through it, showed her how to reduce. She got it on the second try. You're good at this, Mommy. I had practice. When you were little? No, when I was building my business, lots of fractions, lots of math. She went back to her worksheet. Then, without looking up, are you sad we don't see Grandma anymore? A little, are you? Not really, is that bad? No, baby, that's honest. Okay. She erased something, wrote a new answer. I think we're better without her. Out of the mouths of children. Yeah, I said, I think so too. My phone rang, unknown number, I answered carefully. Claire Novick? Yes. This is Corinne Mitchell from the Westchester Business Journal. I'm doing a feature on successful women entrepreneurs in the area and your name came up. Would you be interested in an interview? I hesitated. Then, can I ask who referred you? Patricia Reyes. She said you've built an impressive portfolio and you might have an interesting story to tell. I smiled. Patricia was making sure the world knew, making sure my family couldn't pretend I was still running a little property thing. Yes, I said, I'd be interested. The interview ran 3 weeks later. Front page of the business section. Photo of me outside one of my buildings. Headline, From One Inherited Property to 58 Million, How Claire Novick Built Her Empire in Silence. The article was good, detailed, it mentioned my grandmother. The inheritance, the 15 years of quiet building, the 32 properties, the 18 million in liquid assets. It also mentioned that I was a single mother, that I had done it all while raising my daughter alone after my husband died. I didn't mention my parents, the journalist asked. I said, my family and I have different definitions of success. I'm grateful I had the freedom to pursue mine. That was all. The article went viral. Local first, then regional. Then someone picked it up for a national business podcast. My phone rang constantly. Interview requests, speaking invitations, investment opportunities, and one call from my mother I didn't answer, but I listened to the voicemail. Claire, I saw the article. I don't appreciate you airing our family business in public. People are asking questions. Your father is humiliated. Call me back. We need to discuss this. I saved the voicemail. Didn't respond. 3 days later, a letter arrived. Legal letterhead from an attorney I didn't recognize. Inside was a demand letter. My mother was claiming that she was entitled to a portion of my assets because she had supported my business ventures in the early years by providing housing and guidance. I read it twice. Then I called Rachel Okonkwo. They're claiming they supported my business. Do they have any documentation? No, because they didn't support it. I moved out at 21. I built everything after that. Good. We'll respond appropriately. Don't worry about this. I'm not worried, I'm furious. That's fair, but don't engage directly, let me handle it. Rachel sent a response letter, detailed, documented, every property acquisition, every loan source, every dollar traced back to my own work. The conclusion was clear. My mother had contributed exactly $0 to my business. She had no claim. Any attempt to pursue this further would be considered frivolous litigation. My mother's attorney withdrew the claim 2 weeks later, but she wasn't done. She started calling people, my tenants, my clients, telling them I was difficult, that I was money-obsessed, that I had cut off my family over petty grievances. I found out because one of my long-term tenants called me. Ms. Novick, this is strange, but your mother called me today. She said some things about you that didn't sound right. I wanted you to know. What did she say? That you're greedy. That you exploited your family for money, that people should be careful doing business with you. My hands went cold. Thank you for telling me. Is everything okay? It will be. I called Rachel again. She's calling my clients. That's defamation. Can we do something about it? We can send a cease and desist. If she continues, we can file a lawsuit. Do it. The cease and desist letter went out that afternoon. Rachel made it very clear. Any further contact with my business associates, clients, or tenants would result in legal action. Any further defamatory statements would be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. My mother called me directly after she received it. I answered this time. How dare you, she started. How dare I what? Protect my business from your lies? I wasn't lying. You told my tenant I exploited my family for money. That's a lie. You're welcome to prove otherwise, in court. With documentation, I'll wait. You've lost your mind. No, I've lost my patience. You had 37 years to treat me like I mattered. You didn't. I moved on, and now you're angry because you can't control the narrative anymore. I'm angry because you've turned this into a public spectacle. I gave one interview. About my business, I didn't mention you. I didn't mention our relationship. I didn't air anything. You did that. By demanding money, by calling my clients, by trying to convince people I'm a bad person because I won't let you treat me badly anymore. I never treated you badly. Yes, you did. And I have documentation, 30 pages of it, dates, quotes, witnesses. If you want to do this publicly, I will. I will show the world exactly what kind of mother you were, exactly what kind of grandmother you are. Is that what you want? Silence. I didn't think so. Leave me alone, leave my business alone, or I will make sure everyone knows exactly what you are. I hung up. She didn't call back. 6 months passed. My business grew. I hired 3 more employees, bought 2 more properties, started a scholarship fund for first-generation college students, named it after my grandmother. Lily turned 9. We had a party at our house, just her friends from school. Ms. Evelyn came, Patricia came, Sophie and her daughter came, no family. Lily didn't ask. At the end of the night, after everyone left, Lily helped me clean up. That was the best birthday ever, she said. Yeah, nobody was mean. Nobody made me feel bad. Everyone was just nice. I hugged her. That's how it should always be. I know, but it wasn't before. No, it wasn't. I'm glad we're just us now. Me too, baby. I got an email from Rebecca 2 weeks later. Subject, I understand now. Body, Claire, I've been thinking about what you said, about how I benefited from Mom treating you differently. I didn't want to believe it, but I've been watching how she treats Carter and Emma differently, how she praises Carter more, how she's harder on Emma. And I realized she's doing to Emma what she did to you. I called her out on it. She denied it, just like she denied it with you. I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner. I'm sorry I didn't believe you. You were right about everything. I hope someday we can rebuild, but I understand if we can't. Love, Rebecca. I read it 3 times, then I replied. Thank you for seeing it. I hope Emma is okay. Let me know if you need anything. Claire. She wrote back immediately. Can we have coffee, just us? Maybe. Not yet, but someday. Okay. I'll wait. 1 year after the dinner, I got a letter from my father, handwritten on yellow legal pad paper. Dear Claire, I've been in therapy for 6 months. Your mother won't go, but I needed to, because I've been thinking about what you said, about how I stood by while she treated you differently. And you were right. I did. I told myself it wasn't my place, that it was between you and her, but that was cowardice. You were my daughter, biology or not, and I should have protected you. I should have stood up for you. I should have made sure you knew you were loved. I'm sorry I didn't. I'm sorry for all of it. I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't even expect you to respond. I just wanted you to know that I see it now. I see what I did, and I'm ashamed. If you ever want to talk, I'm here. If you don't, I understand. Love, Dad. I cried when I read it. Real tears, not sad tears, something else. Relief, maybe. I wrote back. Short. Simple. Thank you for this. It means more than you know. I'm not ready to see you yet, but I appreciate you trying. Claire. He wrote back once more. Take all the time you need. I'll be here. I believed him. My mother never apologized, never reached out. I heard through Rebecca that she told everyone I had become cold, money hungry. That success had changed me. Maybe it had, but not in the way she meant. Success hadn't made me cold. It had made me free. Free to choose who I let into my life. Free to demand respect. Free to walk away from people who hurt me, even if they were family. Especially if they were family. I thought about all of this one Sunday morning. Lily and I were having breakfast, pancakes. She was telling me about a book she was reading. The main character's family is really mean to her, she said. What does she do? She leaves. She goes and lives with her aunt instead. How does that make you feel? Lily thought about it. Good, because families should be nice to each other. And if they're not, you should find people who are. That's very wise. Did you read this book when you were little? No, but I learned the same lesson anyway. She nodded, went back to her pancakes. My phone buzzed, a text from Ms. Evelyn. Sunday dinner at my place, 6 o'clock. Bring Lily, I made pierogi. I smiled, texted back. We'll be there. Because family isn't always who you're born to. Sometimes it's who chooses to see you, who shows up. Who makes pierogi on Sunday because they know it's your favorite. Some people say I should have tried harder with my mother, that I should have given her more chances, that cutting off family is cruel. Other people say I didn't go far enough, that I should have exposed everything publicly, made her face consequences for how she treated me. I genuinely want to know, what would you have done? But the story wasn't quite finished. 3 months after I sent that letter to my father, I got a call from an attorney I didn't recognize. Ms. Novick. My name is David Chen. I represent the estate of Walter Kowalski. I didn't recognize the name. I'm sorry, who? Walter Kowalski. He passed away 2 weeks ago. You're named as a beneficiary in his will. My mind went blank. I don't know anyone by that name. According to the documents, Mr. Kowalski was your biological father. Everything stopped. What? He left you a letter and a bequest. Would you be available to meet this week? I met David Chen in his office in Manhattan. He was maybe 50, gray hair, kind eyes. He handed me an envelope. I'll give you privacy to read this. The letter was typed, 3 pages. Dear Claire, we never met. Your mother made sure of that, but I've known about you since the day you were born. My name is Walter Kowalski. I was your mother's boss when she was 22, working as an administrative assistant at a law firm in White Plains. We had an affair. Brief. Stupid. I was married. She was young. When she told me she was pregnant, I panicked. I offered to help financially. She refused. She said she was going to marry someone else, raise the baby as his. She made me promise never to contact her or you. I kept that promise. But I never stopped watching. I knew when you started your business. I knew when you bought your first property. I knew when you got married, when you had your daughter, when your husband died. I hired investigators every few years. Not to interfere. Just to know. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I don't deserve it. I was a coward. I should have fought to be part of your life. I should have stood up to your mother. I didn't. But I want you to know something. You are remarkable. You built something extraordinary from nothing. You survived a family that didn't value you and you became someone they could never diminish. I'm proud of you. I have no right to be, but I'm leaving you 2 things. First, the truth. Your mother told you I died years ago. That's a lie. I died 2 weeks ago. Lung cancer. I wanted you to know the real timeline so she couldn't control that narrative too. Second, I'm leaving you $400,000. It's not much compared to what you've built. But it's yours. No strings, no conditions, just a father trying to do one decent thing before he dies. I'm sorry I wasn't brave enough to be your father when it mattered. Walter, I read it 3 times. Then I set it down and cried. Not sad tears, not happy tears, something in between. David Chen came back in. Are you okay? I don't know. The bequest is straightforward. $400,000 liquid assets. We can transfer it to your accounts whenever you're ready. Did he have other children? 2 sons from his marriage. They're both aware of the bequest to you. They've chosen not to contest it. Do they want to meet me? I can ask, but they didn't indicate that in our conversations. I thought about it. Tell them thank you for not contesting. And tell them I'm sorry for their loss. I will. I took the money. I donated half to a scholarship fund for single mothers going back to school. I put the other half in Lily's trust. I didn't tell my mother, but I knew she would find out eventually. She did, 6 weeks later. She called from a number I didn't have blocked. I answered without thinking. You got money from him? No hello, no preamble. Hello, mother. Walter left you money, $400,000. How did you find out? His son called me. He thought I should know. Okay. That money should have gone to me. I'm the one who raised you. You're the one who lied. You told me he died years ago. Silence. He died 2 weeks before I got the letter, not years ago. You lied. I was protecting you. From what? From knowing my biological father was alive. From maybe having a relationship with him. From having one person in my life who might have actually been proud of me. He abandoned you. You made him abandon me. You told him to stay away. You told him you'd handle it. And then you spent 37 years punishing me for existing. That's not true. It is true, and you know what? I'm done arguing about it. Walter left me money. It's mine, not yours. You have no claim to it, just like you have no claim to me. Claire, you can't keep. Yes, I can. I can keep every dollar. I can keep my business. I can keep my life. And I can keep you out of all of it. That's the consequence of how you treated me. You don't get to benefit from my success. You don't get to be part of my life. You lost that privilege. I'm your mother, biologically, yes. But being a mother is more than biology. It's showing up, it's supporting, it's loving. And you didn't do any of those things, not really. So no, you're not my mother, you're just the woman who raised me. And I'm grateful for the food and the shelter and the clothes, but that's where my gratitude ends. I hung up. She tried to call back, I blocked the new number. That night I sat with Lily and told her about Walter, about the letter, about having a biological father I never knew. Are you sad? She asked. A little, but also grateful. He saw me, even from far away, he saw me. Like Ms. Evelyn sees you. Exactly like that. I think there are lots of people who see you now, Mommy. Yeah, Patricia, Rachel, Sophie, all your tenants, they all see you. What about you? Do you see me? She smiled. I see you best of all. 2 years after the family dinner, Rebecca and I met for coffee. It had taken that long, 2 years of occasional texts, of slow rebuilding, of Rebecca doing her own work in therapy. We met at a neutral place, a coffee shop in Greenwich, neither of our territories. She looked different, older, tired, but also clearer somehow. Thank you for meeting me, she started. Of course. How's Lily? She's great. 11 now, smart as hell. Plays violin? That's wonderful. Carter's 13, Emma's 10, time flies. It does. We sat in silence for a minute, then Rebecca spoke. I left Jason. I looked up. What? 3 months ago, I finally saw what you were trying to tell me, how he treated Emma differently than Carter, how he favored the boy, how he dismissed her, just like Mom dismissed you, and I couldn't do that to her, so I left. Rebecca, I'm sorry. Don't be, it was the right choice. Hard, but right. And I have you to thank for that, for showing me what it looks like to choose yourself, to choose your daughter. How are the kids? Adjusting, it's hard, but we're okay. Better than okay, actually. Emma seems lighter, happier. Good, I wanted to ask you something. Okay. Do you think we can be sisters again? Not like before, but something new, something better. I thought about it. About 35 years of history. About all the times she had chosen comfort over standing up. But also about this moment. About her leaving her marriage, about her protecting her daughter. I think we can try. Her eyes filled with tears. Thank you. But Rebecca, I need you to understand something. I'm not the same person I was. I have boundaries now. I have standards, and if you cross them, I will walk away again. I won't hesitate. I know, I understand. Good. We had coffee. We talked about the kids, about work, about nothing heavy. It was nice. Tentative, but nice. When we left, she hugged me. I really am proud of you, Claire. I know I should have said it years ago, but I'm saying it now. Thank you. Can we do this again? Yes, let's do this again. My father and I had lunch 3 months after that, just the two of us, a diner in Stamford. He looked older, thinner. The cancer treatment had aged him. Thank you for coming, he said. How are you feeling? Good, cancer-free for 18 months now. Doctors say I'm in the clear. That's great, Dad. I got your card. When I finished treatment, it meant a lot. I had sent a card, nothing elaborate, just congratulations on completing treatment. Glad you're doing well. I meant it. I know you did. He stirred his coffee. I've been wanting to talk to you, to really talk. Okay. I failed you as a father. I stood by and let your mother treat you as less important. I told myself it wasn't my place, that it was between you two. but that was cowardice. You were my daughter, are my daughter, and I should have protected you. You said that in your letter. I know, but I wanted to say it to your face. I'm sorry, Claire, I'm deeply, truly sorry. I looked at him. He meant it. I could see it. I appreciate that. Is there any way at all we can have a relationship? Even a small one? I thought about it. Maybe, but not with Mom. I can't be around her. I understand. We're separated anyway. I looked up sharply. What? Your mother and we separated 4 months ago. The therapy helped me see a lot of things. How she treated you. How she treats everyone, really. How controlling she is. How she can't admit when she's wrong. I asked her to go to couples counseling. She refused, so I moved out. I'm sorry. Don't be, it was time. I should have done it years ago. Maybe if I had, things would be different with you. Maybe. So, can we try lunch once a month, just us? I considered it. He had apologized. He had left my mother. He was trying. Once every 2 months, let's start there. Relief flooded his face. Thank you. We had lunch every 2 months after that. It was awkward at first, then easier. We didn't talk about my mother. We talked about Lily, about his health, about my business, about his new apartment. It wasn't perfect, but it was something. My mother tried one more time. She showed up at my office unannounced. Sophie called me from the front desk. Your mother is here. Should I call security? No, send her back. I wanted to face her, one last time. She walked into my office looking smaller than I remembered, older. Her hair was completely gray now. She wasn't wearing makeup. Claire, Mother, can I sit? Go ahead. She sat, folded her hands in her lap. I came to apologize. Did you? Yes, I was wrong about everything, how I treated you, how I treated Lily, all of it. I'm sorry. I waited. I was jealous, she continued, of your success, of your strength, of the fact that you built something without me. Without needing me, I wanted you to need me, and when you didn't, I resented it. Okay. Is that all you're going to say? What do you want me to say? That you forgive me, that we can move forward. I looked at her, really looked. She meant the apology, I could tell, but it was 40 years too late. I appreciate the apology, I do, but it doesn't change anything. What do you mean? I mean I forgive you, but I don't want a relationship with you. You hurt me for too long. You hurt my daughter, and I can't trust that you won't do it again. I've changed, maybe you have, but I don't need to find out. I have a good life, a peaceful life. And you're not part of it, that's not punishment, it's just reality. Claire, please, no, this is my boundary. You don't get to cross it. You don't get to call me. You don't get to show up at my office. You don't get access to me or Lily. If you keep trying, I'll get a restraining order. Do you understand? She stood up. Her hands were shaking. You're cruel. No, I'm protected. There's a difference. I'm your mother. You were my mother. You're not anymore. Not in any way that matters. She walked to the door, stopped, turned back. You'll regret this when I'm gone. No, I won't, because I'll know I tried. I gave you chances. You didn't take them. That's on you, not me. She left. I never saw her again. 5 years later, I got a call from Rebecca. Mom died. I was in my kitchen. Lily was at school. I sat down slowly. When? Last night, heart attack. It was quick. How are you? I don't know, sad, relieved, both. Are you planning a funeral? Yes, small, just family. Will you come? I thought about it, about my mother, about everything she had been, everything she hadn't been. No, Claire, I can't, Rebecca. I let her go years ago. I grieved her then. I don't have anything left. Okay, I understand. How's Dad? He's okay. He asked about you, if you'd come. Tell him I'm sorry for his loss. But I can't be there. I will. After we hung up, I sat in my kitchen for a long time. I thought I would feel something, sadness, regret, something, but I just felt quiet. That night, I told Lily. Grandma died. She looked up from her homework. Oh, are you sad? I don't know, I barely knew her. Yeah, are you sad? No, not really. Is that bad? No, baby, that's honest. You can't miss someone who was never really there. Okay. She went back to her homework. I donated $5,000 to a women's shelter in my mother's name. It felt right, taking her memory and turning it into something that actually helped people. Rebecca called after the funeral. It was nice, small, Dad spoke, so did Aunt Linda. Good. I read something, a poem about mothers and daughters. I thought of you when I read it. Thank you. Claire, I need to tell you something. Okay. Mom's will. She left everything to me. The condo, her accounts, everything. She wrote you out completely. I know. I expected that. I want to split it with you, 50-50. That's only fair. No. What? Keep it, Rebecca. I don't want it. I never did. But I have everything I need. You have 2 kids to put through college. Keep it. Use it. It's yours. Claire, that's almost $300,000. I know, and I'm telling you to keep it. I don't want her money. I don't want anything from her. Let that be the end of it. Rebecca was quiet. Then softly, okay, thank you. You're welcome. 10 years after the family dinner, I stood in front of 200 people at a women's business conference. I was the keynote speaker. Topic: Building Wealth Without Apology. Lily was in the audience, 20 years old now, college junior, business major. She had my eyes and Marcus's smile and a fierce independence I recognized. I talked about starting with one property, about working 3 jobs, about building in silence. About the moment I realized I didn't need anyone's permission to succeed. After the speech, a young woman approached me, maybe 25, nervous. "Ms. Novick, I just wanted to say thank you. My family doesn't support what I'm doing. They think I should get a safe job. Your story made me feel less alone." I looked at her. I saw myself at 25. "You're not alone, and you don't need their support. You just need your own determination. Build it anyway. Prove them wrong by succeeding." Did it feel good when you proved them wrong? I thought about it. About the family dinner, about the confrontation, about everything that came after. It felt necessary. That's more important than good. She nodded, thanked me, walked away. Lily came over. "That was great, Mom." "Thanks, baby. Do you ever wish things had been different with Grandma?" "Sometimes, but not the way you think." "What do you mean?" "I don't wish she had been kinder. I wish I had seen the truth sooner. I wish I had walked away earlier. I wish I hadn't wasted so much time hoping she would change." "Do you think she ever regretted it, how she treated you?" "I don't know, maybe at the end, but it doesn't matter anymore. I built a life she's not part of, a good life, that's enough." "Yeah, it is." We walked out together. The afternoon sun was bright. Lily linked her arm through mine. "Ms. Evelyn invited us for dinner tonight. She's making pierogi. She always makes pierogi." "I know, I love it." "Me too." We drove to Mount Vernon. Ms. Evelyn's building looked the same as it had 20 years ago. I had bought it outright 15 years earlier. Made sure the rent stayed affordable. Made sure Ms. Evelyn would never have to worry about being pushed out. She answered the door with a huge smile, 87 years old now, still sharp, still kind. "My girls," she hugged us both. "Come in, everything's ready." We ate dinner at her small kitchen table, the same table where she had given me tea and advice 20 years ago. Where she had seen me when no one else did. After dinner, Ms. Evelyn pulled out a photo album. "I found these the other day, thought you might want to see." Photos from over the years, me at 25 standing in front of my first property, me at 30 pregnant with Lily, me at 35 exhausted but smiling after closing on my 10th building. "You've come so far," Ms. Evelyn murmured. "We both have." "No, honey, you did this, I just watched." "You did more than watch, you saw me. That mattered more than you know." She squeezed my hand. "I'm proud of you. I know, you've been telling me that for 20 years. Because it's true." Lily helped clean up. Ms. Evelyn walked us to the door. "Same time next month?" she asked. "Same time next month." We drove home. Lily was quiet, looking out the window. "Mom, yeah, baby. Do you think I'll be as successful as you?" "I think you'll be successful in your own way, that's better." "What if I fail?" "Then you'll learn something, and you'll try again." That's what I did. That's what everyone does. Were you scared when you started? Terrified. But you did it anyway. I did it anyway. She smiled, went back to looking out the window. I pulled into our driveway, our house, 4 bedrooms, pool in the back. Lily had her own space. I had my office. It was exactly what we needed. We went inside. Lily went upstairs to study. I sat in my office and looked at the photo on my desk. Marcus and me on our wedding day, small ceremony, just us and the judge. Happy. Next to it, a photo of Lily at her high school graduation. Cap and gown, huge smile. Next to that, a framed copy of the article from the Westchester Business Journal, the one that had started everything. I didn't keep photos of my mother, or my father, or Rebecca, just the people who had seen me, who had chosen me, who had stayed. My phone buzzed, a text from Patricia. "Closed on the office building in Yonkers. Congratulations, you're now worth $83 million. I smiled, texted back. "Thanks for everything. Thank you for trusting me 20 years ago, for being the success story I always knew you'd be." I set down my phone, looked around my office. At the life I had built, it wasn't perfect. I had lost my mother. My relationship with my father was cordial but distant. Rebecca and I were rebuilding but slowly, but I had Lily. I had Ms. Evelyn. I had Patricia and Rachel and Sophie and 200 tenants who trusted me. I had a business that employed 32 people. I had security, freedom, peace. I had built something they couldn't take from me, and that was everything. Lily came downstairs an hour later. "I'm hungry. I just fed you dinner." "That was like 2 hours ago. You're a bottomless pit." "I'm a growing college student." We made grilled cheese sandwiches, ate them at the kitchen counter, talked about nothing important. This was the life I had built. Not dramatic, not perfect, just ours. And it was enough. Some people still say I was too harsh. That I should have forgiven my mother. That family is family and you don't give up on them. Other people say she got what she deserved. That she spent 37 years making me feel small and she earned every consequence. I genuinely want to know, what would you have done?